What is up, everyone? CharleyPangus here. Welcome to day 5 of 10 days of t-shirt designs. I'm really excited to bring you guys day 5. This is going to be a great episode. So today I'm going to be breaking down this Legends clothing design here, and this is going to be a different episode, guys. I'm actually not going to just do the entire design today. So instead, what I want to do is show you guys how to recreate some of the objects in this design, like the thunderbolts, the keyhole, the banners, and the laurel rest. I think this is more important because if you guys can learn how to make these shapes, the possibilities are endless. You can literally make a bunch of designs using these same techniques. So anyway, that's what this episode is going to be all about, and I really think this is going to help you guys out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and run that intro and get this episode started. So today we're going to be using Illustrator to create some really cool objects. Now, I'm not going to remake the skull that you see here, but I will make the banner, the text shadow right here that you see, which is really cool, the laurel rest, the thunderbolts, the keyhole, and that's it today. The skull was actually found on a free vector site, and I encourage you guys to go search the internet or draw your own skull. Up to you, but for time's sakes, I just found a free vector. Today is really important because I'm going to show you guys how to recreate all these different objects. We're going to start with the banner first. I'm going to move on to the thunderbolts, the laurel rest, the keyhole, and then I'll even show you guys how to do this text shadow here. So let's go ahead and get that going. So what I have is just my reference, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so you guys can see better. So all you have to do is draw out a rectangle first to start this. Really simple. So once you've drawn out a rectangle that you're comfortable with, that's all you had to do. So now we can leave that here for just for now, and I want to draw out a square, perfect square, and I'm going to rotate that square because what we're doing is we're going to make these sharp ends right here, which are triangles. So in order to make a triangle out of the square, all you have to do is rotate it. You can hold down shift to make it go 315 degrees, and that's it. Then you let go, and then now we're gonna cut it in half, which is super simple. All you have to do to make a triangle using this square is draw out a rectangle and basically cover the majority of the square. So we're gonna cover the square, and I'm gonna make this a different color so you guys can see what's happening here. So what I need to do is go to my Pathfinder now and minus front because the rectangle is in front of the square, okay? So once you select them both, you can go to minus front right here, and it's going to cut it in half, and you're going to see that triangle appear, and that's what we wanted, so that is beautiful. Now I can drag it into place and resize it to fit what I want, just like this. And it's always good to align things, so I'm using my align to selection option here. And then what I need to do is duplicate it because I need to put it on the right side as well since it's already on the left side. And then I'm flipping that vertical, and then what I can do is select both of them and just basically center them to the canvas, just like this. So I'm centering them both to the canvas, and that is all I have to do for this part. Now I can actually merge these all together because I want to make it one shape now. So that is beautiful, looking good. Now there's a couple things that I have done. For instance, I've added a inner stroke here, so we are going to do that. But before we do that, we're going to add a little warp, which is like a really quick warp, just to give it that nice arc. Now this is really simple. Just select your shape that you just created, go to Effect, and go to Warp. Once you have went to Warp, you're going to see these warp options, and all you have to do is make it like 28% to get the exact warp I have. Your shape might be a little longer or shorter, so it might look a little different, but overall this is going to be the same look. And then I click OK, and now I have my warp. So before we add the inner stroke, what I need to do is go up to Object, and then I need to expand the appearance. So once you expand that appearance, it's going to look like this. And the reason why I expanded the appearance because I didn't want the warp options to show because I'm happy with this warp. But as I said before, we need to duplicate this, so I need to copy it. So I'm just going to go to Copy, Control C also works, and then I'm going to go to Paste in Place, or you could do Shift plus Control plus V, works the same way. And just to show you, I have this one in front now. I'm just gonna make it black again. Now what I need to do is change the offset, okay? So I need to offset this path and put it inside so I can effectively create a nice stroke. So in order to do that, all you have to do is go to Object, Path, and you need to go to Offset Path, just like this. And then you can go to Preview. You just have to mess with the numbers here. It's really simple, but it's a lot of experimentation. So I'm just going to keep messing with the number until I'm happy with it, and I think this is going to be fine. This is fine for now, so I'm going to click OK. It's a little more than I had before, I believe. Now what we have is a shape that was offset, so now we have this cool look. And as you can see, I can even fill it with white and have this nice thick border, but I don't want that. So I'm going to make it black again and just add a stroke. So we're going to add a stroke that's white, not black, or else it's just going to blend in, and that is it. So you can leave the stroke options the way they are and go up to like 3. That's usually what I like to use. and I think it's a line stroke to center. Yes, it is. So that is perfect. We can leave it at that. And now we have a really cool banner that we can utilize in any design that we want. Now we're going to be moving on to the actual Thunderbolt. So we're going to recreate this Thunderbolt that I have here. And these are really easy to make, but they're super fun to make. So I need to clear up some space. So I am going to delete what we just did with the banners and drag these Thunderbolts over here just as a reference. Now Thunderbolts are really fun because they don't have to be perfect. And that's the really cool thing about some shapes is you can make them in your own way, you know, because they have a story to tell. I mean, everything that you make is your own, so whether a line is perfect or not, it does not matter. It's really just your own taste. So what we're gonna do today is make these kind of Thunderbolts right here, which do have a slight arc to them, but not a huge arc. And we use these in the design right here. Thunderbolts and stars and all that stuff can be used as fillers, and that's what I like to do. So these are actually made primarily with the pen tool, and the pen tool is great for doing this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go to the pen tool, or I can just hit P on my keyboard. So this is not always easy for people that are new to the pen tool, but it really is trial and error. You just have to keep trying it and you'll get it down, I promise you. So I have my fill to black and I have no stroke, so that's what we want. We don't want a stroke on this. Now I'm on my pen tool, so I need to start drawing out some anchor points, just like this. So we're creating that nice shape of the Thunderbolt. One can be a little longer. And my smart guys are kind of helping me, as you can see. But they're not doing too much, but they are helping me a little bit, and I like to utilize them. So that's all I did, and now I can go back and go to my selection tool here, or my selection arrow, and then I can kind of mess with the points. So all I'm using is my direct selection tool to mess with these points and figure out, you know, what I want this to look like. So that's fine, I'm happy with this. Now as you can see, mine are rounded more, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So now we have our Thunderbolt set in place, and what we need to do now is add an arc and then round it. So, but before I add this arc, what I want to do is flip it this way because I want this front to be the primary side. And it's also a little short, I guess you can say. So I'm just going to drag this right side a little bit out just to make it a little bit longer. And now we can add that warp. And I'm just going to apply the arc I already did on the banner. It looks like it's a little too much, so we're going to mess with it a little bit more. So I'm going to go to my arc menu here. Just mess with it a little bit more, and that's actually looking fine, so I'm happy with it. I'm going to click OK. So I just applied that arc. Now I want to add a stroke, but before I do that, I'm going to expand the appearance on this just so that warp frame disappears, just like that. So now we're good. Now I just need to add a stroke that's black, and it's on the outside, because right now it's aligned to center. What we need to do is go on the outside of it, and it's also capped on this left side. We don't want that, so I just need to make everything rounded, just like that. And if I just click away for a second, you can see that it's nicely rounded, and that's exactly what I wanted, but it's a little too thick. So we're just going to go down to 3, just like that, and that is perfect. Now I can expand everything and merge it, and now we have a solid Thunderbolt. And all I did to create the second one was duplicate it. So I went like this, just like this. And I even just basically rotated it a little bit. Now we have the main Thunderbolts that I already had, and we just recreated these ones. And as you can see, they're pretty darn similar. So we just made the Thunderbolt. Now we are going to go on to the keyhole. All right, guys, so let's make a keyhole. So keyholes are really simple. I'm just gonna drag this other keyhole over here real quick, and I'm going to delete the thunder since we already made those. Keyholes are simple because it's really just a circle and a rectangle. Let's go ahead and remake that real quick. So let's draw out a circle, obviously, because that's what it's made up of. Once we have drawn out that circle, we are set. Now what we need to do is draw out a rectangle. Now this rectangle needs to start off kind of skinny, okay? So we can make it a little skinnier, and just like this. You guys can copy the same width I have around there, and that is looking good. We can actually make it a little shorter, just like that. Now what we need to do is select this bottom left and bottom right point and basically move them to the side more, because it goes from thin to thick, as you can see in this one. So in order to do that, all we have to do is select one side first, and we can just go over like 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then do the same for the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you just keep doing that basically. So now I did 20 times on the left and 20 times on the right. And as you can see, it created this cool keyhole shape. Now, I don't like how the top is a little too thick, so we're just going to make the top a little shorter by selecting the right and left points. So I'm gonna do the right first and then do the left. So I went in 10 times on each side on the top, right and left. And as you can see, we created this really cool keyhole shape. Now my edges are more round than my original one, so what we're gonna do to accomplish this is just add a stroke around everything. So we could just add a stroke real quick. Doesn't have to be too thick, it could be like 3, and then just round the corners. Just like that. So now we just created this rounded keyhole in a matter of minutes. It took literally no time at all, and that's it. So I can merge everything together now, or expand everything and then merge it together, and then now we have a really cool keyhole. So we just made a keyhole. Now what I want to do is make these laurel wreaths for you guys to show you how to do that. This is actually a really cool technique I'm going to show you, and laurel wreaths just look really cool. So let's go ahead and make a laurel wreath. I'm going to clear out some space right here, and I'm just going to duplicate this on the right side here. All a laurel wreath is really just two circles that are combined together to create this really cool oval shape. So this shape's actually really cool because you can make it an eye as well if you wanted to. So we're not going to do that right now, but just so you guys know the possibilities. So let's draw out two circles real quick. I drew out one circle, and I'm gonna make this one like red or something. Make one off color and make one like a black color, whatever you want though. Just make them two different colors. And what you're gonna see is this middle shape kind of appear right here. As you can see, the faint blue line is creating this oval shape already in the center, so that's perfect. Now what I want to do is make this one a different color like I said. What we need to do is select both of them, and what we're going to do is delete the left and right side in order to get this middle shape. The easiest way to do this is go to your shape builder here and then hold in Alt, and that's going to put a minus sign next to the black arrow here, and you can just delete the left and right just like that. And now I have this really cool oval shape that I need to create my laurel wreath. So in order to create the laurel wreath look, what we need to do is have two of these, okay? So what I need to do first is rotate it a little bit because we're creating the base of it. As you can see right here, there's the first ones, and that basically makes up the rest of it, okay? So we'll keep one of them on the side right here, just for the top part that you see over here. Now what we need to do is create our base. So I'm going to rotate this one to the left a little bit, just about like that, and then I need to duplicate it and then flip it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is flip it, or reflect it is what it's called in Illustrator, and we're gonna flip it vertically, just like this, just to create this laurel wreath look. And then what I wanna do is combine them on the bottom just enough so it doesn't show anything at the bottom, just like that. And that's actually perfect, that's what I wanted. And you could do this many different ways. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. You can make it more spaced. It's really up to you. I mean, you could create like a little space, but I'm just going to combine them today. Now I have this really cool U looking leaf shape. I also just centered them just so everything's nice and centered. And then what I can do is start duplicating them and putting them on top of each other. And as you can see, we're already creating that laurel wreath shape. Now I just need to add the top part before I fix all the spacing. So what I can do is take the one I just saved on the left side here, and that's why I saved it, because I knew I was going to put it on top, and I need that one to be straight up, just like that. And that is perfect. That's what I wanted. I can bring it down a little bit more. And then another thing I need to do is change the spacing here. I need to make sure everything's evenly spaced. So I'm going to change the alignment to align to selection, and then hit this one right here. And then that is how I know everything's aligned. I could do the same with the top one, just like that. So now everything's aligned, and I need to group them all together, which I just did. Now what I can do is start applying my arc to it to give it this nice little arc that you see here. And I'm just going to duplicate it in case I mess up, so I have a copy. So now that I duplicated it, I need to rotate it anyway, it doesn't matter left or right, and we're going to apply an arc to it, which is going to give it this nice little look right here like you see. So go to Effect, go to Warp, and go to Arc, and then as you can see, it's going to add that arc, and you can kind of mess with the arc the way you want it. Play with the arc until you're happy with it, and then click OK. Then you can expand appearance just to get rid of the warp frame, and then rotate it back to its original state, or position I mean. And that is it. So now we have this cool laurel wreath. Now what I want to do is show you guys how to add this really cool shadow effect to text. So I'm going to go back to my blank artboard here and type out some text real quick. So we can actually keep this as Laura Mipsum, and I did it automatically. And I'm using a font called DDC Hardware. You guys can use whatever font you want, it doesn't matter. This effect does work better with thicker font, just so you guys know. So in order to create this effect, this shadow effect, we need to create an offset just like we did with the banner earlier. So I'm going to outline my text first. So I outline my text. Now what I can do is select it and then edit, copy, and then paste this in front, okay? So Control Shift V, that pastes it in front, and then we're gonna create an offset, like I said, just like we did with the banner. So Object, Path, Offset, and I need to go to preview, and that is way too much, so I need to lower the number down, more positive. I'm just going to keep playing with these numbers until I'm happy with it. You guys can copy the same numbers I have. So 4 is looking good, and now I can click OK and change the color to something poppy like red, or we could just do white actually. So now we have this top text that we can move away, and that is perfect. That's what we wanted, but the effect's not done yet. Now what I need to do is cut the top of this off just to keep the bottom part of it. So I could just draw out a rectangle real quick. What we're gonna do is select both of them, and we're actually gonna use trim. And what this is gonna do is it's literally gonna trim the top off wherever that rectangle was. So let me delete the rectangle to show you what it's done. So as you can see, it literally deleted everything that the rectangle was covering, but we have some discrepancy right here, so we need to delete that. And I can just select it and delete it that way, and that works perfectly. But usually you can just go back and reposition the rectangle and mess with it a little bit, but this looks fine in my opinion. I'm happy with it. Now, in order to add that arc that I added, all you have to do is go up to Effect and go to Warp and then Add Arc, and it does the same thing I just did. Now, this isn't the way I would actually arc my text. What I would do is create a work path first, just like I've shown you guys in the past, and add my text around that work path. Then I would do this effect after I've already arced it. But this is just to show you guys how I got that effect. And as you can see, it's the same thing. Let me go back to my normal design. It's the same thing. That is it for day 5. I hope this video helped you guys out. I had a lot of fun creating these objects with you guys today, and I can't wait for day 6. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that thumbs up button. Let me know what you guys thought about day 5 in the comment section below. And most importantly, follow me on Instagram to connect with me. You guys can send me messages on there or just whatever, stalk my profile. It really doesn't matter. Another thing is, I just want to thank you guys one more time for making this series such an awesome mini series. You guys inspire me to keep going, and I really think that this is something I will do again in the future. We have 5 more days left, guys, so don't worry, there's plenty of more content to come, and I'm really doing my best to show you guys as much as I can in this mini series. Anyway, that is it from you guys. I will see you in day 6. You guys have a great day. Bye.